I went to an interesting borstal of a comprehensive school. I don't know, that's probably unfair. I'd say it was just a very interesting experience. About 3,000 students from all different backgrounds. What added to the experience for me was that I've got parents who are in show business, both actors, and my mother in particular. I think it's going to be her 65th year next year that she's been in show business. Quite an incredible thing. I think the biggest take-home memory for me is, with hindsight packed with portent for the future, a classmate of mine brought in a magazine with both of us on the front cover. Now, he also had famous parents by the name of Celia Birtwell and Ozzie Clark, the late Ozzie Clark, and it was a baby magazine. And we were on the front cover, and it said babies with famous parents. But to my shock horror, because they did this kind of shit in 1972, we were all stark bollock naked. So there I was, presenting my baby penis, but 2 feet away from Charlotte Kopp, the girl who I fancied and had been trying to cop off with for over a year. I guess what it gave me a profound sense of immediately was that if you publish anything, you lose control of it. You may retain the rights, but you lose control of how that will be used. If you try and bury it, it'll resurface. So when social media and stuff like that started appearing, I approached it with extreme caution and always promised myself that I would never let my children endure that kind of embarrassment in the future. This is a long baby penis anecdote way round of me explaining why I haven't vlogged for a while. I'm on a family holiday. Whilst I'm happy to bare my soul as a Willy and as a composer and as a company director, my family will never be part of this vlog. Hi guys. Hello. How you doing? Thanks so much for sticking around. That's all right. I'm filming my vlog on my stills camera, so it's going to be shit. What's going on here? I've also been reading this book, and if you haven't picked your holiday read, I really humbly recommend it. Even though it was written in 1976, it is Notes on the Making of Apocalypse Now by Eleanor Coppola, Francis Ford Coppola's wife. And whilst it is probably one of the greatest accounts of movie making I've ever read, it is also conveniently ties in with my fascination with narcissism, because I believe from reading this that Francis may be touched by the NPD brush somewhat. Very difficult times for Elena. There's a passage in this book that is kind of continues on this portentous theme, and I'll share it with you verbatim if you'll let me. It's on page 145, and Elena writes, I shot an interview with Dennis Hopper. One of the things he said that interested me the most was that he thought filmmaking was in the same phase of development that art was during the cathedral building period. When they built those great cathedrals in Europe, they employed stonemasons, engineers, fresco painters, etc., and they created the work through the combined talents of many. By the 19th century, art evolved to the point where the major work of the day was being done by individual artists working alone at an easel. Dennis was making the point that now filmmaking involves the talents of many departments, and perhaps, eventually, major films will be made by one person with a video porta pack, as he called them in those days. It's quite interesting because Junkie XL brought it up on his channel recently, and that is, looking after your health. I think I'd like to touch on not looking after just your mental health, but also your creative health. And it took me about 15 years to realise that the worst place to write music is in front of that fucking computer screen. So I do urge people, whenever you get a chance, get away and recharge your creative, spiritual self. And I'm not talking about doing yoga and meditation. I'm talking about sitting by a beach, eating cheese and tomato pizzas and drinking beer. I've come back with a sackload of ideas. Some I'm going to share with you soon, which I'm quite excited about. So whenever you can, pull yourself away from that computer, get on a hike, go for a walk in the park, jump on an EasyJet and go somewhere interesting. I guess when I got my dog, I was very worried, I've got a lot of commitments on my plate at the moment, not to mention my family. Can I really, afford the time to take a dog for a walk twice a day? And the answer is, if you make that part of your working day, yes, you can. So this isn't procrastination, this is pre-roll.